Hi folks, my name's Deepak Shukla and welcome to my Unacademy YouTube course, How to Get a Place at Oxford, Cambridge and other top European universities. If you're looking to prepare for examinations and take courses for any number of topics, head to unacademy.com, India's largest learning platform, and stay tuned for this course to make sure that you get into the top university. Brought to you by Deepak Shukla and Unacademy. Hi guys, welcome back to the second part of this course, how to write a personal statement for Oxford, Cambridge and other European universities. So let's keep going through. In the last lesson we covered these four areas basically, which is, why is, and let me zoom out a little bit so you can see it more easily. Why Oxford and Cambridge are considered to be the best universities in the world. That's very popularly considered to be the case. Famous South Asians that went to Oxford as well as Cambridge, and 10 of the easiest subjects to get accepted onto, as well as 10 of the hardest subjects to get accepted onto. So they were the things that we covered in the last lesson. Now, coming to this lesson, these are the four things that we're going to go through. These are, of course, critically important things to attending institutions such as Oxford and Cambridge. You want to know the cost for, of course, attending. If you're an EU student that's listening, then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about those costs. Also, if you're a non-EU student, if you're from outside of the European Union, then I'm also going to go through some of those costs for you. And then we're going to have some consideration for scholarships that are available for non-EU students as well as EU students. There's a range of scholarships that you can potentially apply to if you choose to attend Oxford or apply to Oxford or Cambridge. Finally, we're going to look at probably something that's very important that it's not looked at enough, which is the cost of living and everything associated whilst you're at Oxbridge. So you've got, of course, your tuition fees, but then you've got to think about like your rent, living expenses and general day-to-day life at Oxbridge. So they're the four areas we're going to go through. Let's begin. So if this is if you're a home or EU student, by home I mean if you're already part of Great Britain or the United Kingdom, then you're considered to be a home student from a civil or civic standpoint, if you will. If you're an EU student, then you're considered to be exactly the same, i.e. countries that are within the European Union. Let's quickly have a quick look so you can see exactly what it is that we mean. So fundamentally, here we go, here's European Union countries. Let's have a look at this image just here that I'm pulling up from, I think the source is Indiana. So the language is of course different, but fundamentally it's all of the countries definitely in blue, as well as the countries in green. Now the orange countries aren't in the European Union, I do know. Let's have a look at this picture instead to see if that yields any light for us. So here we go. Okay, perfect. So if you're a home or EU student, you're going to be from one of these countries within Europe. As you can see, it includes Malta, Cyprus, and a bunch of countries around here. So these are what you consider to be home or EU students. So let's go back. So if you're a home or EU student, then the tuition fees will be £9,250 per annum. That's for 2017. So ultimately, over the course of a 3-year degree, this basically works out as being 9, 18, 27, £27,750. So that's the tuition fee for 2017, £27,750 in terms of the overall cost for going to university. That has changed significantly over the years. When I went to university, it was closer to £3,000. This has just risen. I went to university back in 2005, I think I went. So it's been a fair while. It's been of this level now. So here we go. This is the other thing for it. UK and EU students you can get a loan ultimately from the UK government, the full amount of your tuition fees. You don't need to pay them up front. Okay, you don't need to pay the tuition fees up front. You can get a loan for that entire sum. So that means that if you're from one of these countries ultimately, then going to Oxbridge is pretty affordable. You know, if you've got a place. Right. So if you're doing your second degree, however, then things get a little bit different. So let's say you've already got a politics and history degree from the University of Geneva, or from Edinburgh in the UK, or wherever it might be. Then the tuition fee for 2017 will be £9,250, and you'll not be eligible for any financial support. So what that means is that you will not be able to access a loan. Okay, you'll not be able to access a loan from the UK government, so you will need to find the funds yourself. And students often, or sometimes, well, I say often, sometimes do family, of course. Financial support is the primary means. The secondary means is saving money through running a business or working in some form of employment before you apply. But typically speaking, there'll be either scholarships or family support for those who are going into their second degree in order to cover the fee costs. So this now is where it gets interesting, and it perhaps is most relevant for those people that are thinking about applying. It's for non-EU students, what is it that's actually involved? So here we go. Non-EU students. Let me zoom out again. Zoom back in fact. Okay, so non-EU students, you will not be eligible for any tuition fee support from Oxford or the UK government. Now that's the first thing to remember, that if you're outside of the European Union, there are deals that have been put in to make sure that education is ultimately priced the same, whether you're in the United Kingdom or whether you're in Cyprus, in terms of studying at Oxford or Cambridge. Okay, so that's just one thing to consider. So if you're not from the EU, i.e. you're from the Ukraine, you're from Georgia, you're from Russia, you're from, according to this as well, you're from Norway. It would explain why I wasn't aware of that, actually, why I don't really ever meet Norwegians at universities. If you're not from any of these places, as well as, of course, South Asian countries, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and more, Southeast Asian as well, and so on and so forth, you're not able to get any tuition fee support. So also you get charged more, a significantly high level of tuition fee, which will vary according to your program of study. Okay, so that varies according to your programs of study, and overseas students are liable for additional college fees. So the best way, that if you want to go ahead and check out so college fees, non-EU students, Oxford. And this, that's what I would Google if you saw there, college fees, non-EU students, Oxford, and it will tell you a additional college fee. Okay, and then you can go ahead and click open some of these links. So that's just an example of something that you could do. But I'm going to go through them here. Okay, so this is for non-EU students. So here we have it. The annual college fee payable by student, there you go, it's about £7,500 almost, on average. Okay, this is the annual college fee. Then you've got the tuition fee payable by student if you're from overseas. Now we're looking at a significantly higher price. As you can see, it's from £15,000 to £23,000. So we're looking at something like 15, 30, 45, about 47,000 pounds, something like that, 48,000 pounds, between 47,000 pounds, let's say, up to around 2040, 60, 72, 71, like 70,000 pounds ultimately. So 47 to 70,000 pounds, something along those lines. So the point here is that if you're a non-EU student, then going to Oxbridge is indeed going to be outside of the realms of what's possible for a large majority of students. However, provided that there is the finance within the family or some other means of getting you to these places, then you should definitely apply. And what I'm going to go through, of course, is talking about some of the other options that are on the table for you. So that is for non-EU students right here, as we can see there. It's cool. So let's keep going. That's quite cool. Scholarships. So Oxford provides dedicated pages to search for this, and they directly offer it, but there's also external organisations to explore. So this is the good news, okay? I understand that the fees are, some people would call them extortionate, but the fees are the fees. They're the same at, all of the universities in the UK. For non-EU students, you're subject to higher charges, and Oxbridge does provide a dedicated search page for this, as well as other being external organisations to explore. So what I mean is that if you're proactive enough, there are external organisations and support structures you can call upon to ensure that you get, or can at least apply for, the kind of scholarship that you need. So let me just show you, if we go back into Google again, shut down these pages. This is going to correct it for me. Non-EU scholarships. So you type in something like that. So you have a look at international students. Many of Oxford scholarships are available. We look at that. External scholarships. You look at fees and funding, etc. The point is, and the reason I haven't gone into this in huge depth, is that just do be aware, okay? Many students aren't aware that you can apply for scholarships, provided you've got a significant level of, you've got high, ultimately the things to be aware of, you have to have extremely high academic performance, okay? Extremely high academic performance. I'm sure that that's very clear to all of you, but for those that wish to get a scholarship, it needs to be even higher, and that once you've also got that, then evidence of hardship in your family. It's going to probably be a combination of both rather than just one. You can get it just with extreme hardship alone, but if you're not an exceptional candidate, then I don't really see the rationale for Oxbridge saying yes to you. If you are an incredibly exceptional student, you can still apply for academic scholarship, but if you've got the family funds, it's likely to be something that you may not well even bother applying to, or Oxford will kind of review and decide that you're not the most appropriate candidate for this scholarship because you have the means to pay for the tuition fees all by yourself. But Oxford, as you can see, scholarship search facilities. A summary of external scholarships and search facilities is provided below. These are managed by organisations external to Oxford, therefore various application processes and closing dates will apply. If you have any questions, please contact the relevant organisation directly. And it's for this reason, as you can see, if I'm just doing a scroll, so we'd look at students from, let's have a look, Asia. You look at students from Asia to have a look at what's available, to see if there's anything that bits it. The Tartar Endowment, you've got a couple of other ones here, so we'd have a look at the Tartar Endowment if you're from India as an example. Predominantly loan scholarships, however selected scholars may also qualify for a gift award. So a loan scholarship means that you pay them back. Applicants should be Indian nationals and graduates of a recognised Indian university. So you can go over and have a look at the Tartar Endowment Awards, and JN Tartar Endowment. Applicants should be Indian nationals and graduates of a recognised Indian university with a consistently good academic record. Students in the final year of a degree course and those awaiting results can also apply. Mid-career professionals up to the age of 35 planning to go abroad for further research, specialisation or training are eligible to apply. At the time of submitting the completed applications, candidates need not have academic offer letters from the universities to which they have applied for the relevant year. So there's interviews by subject matter experts, there's initial screening, and there's interviews by subject matter experts, and the final selection is on the basis of interviews that are held in Mumbai gradually between March and June of each year, and then the procedure for applying is on a further page still. And this is definitely an option that could be open to you depending upon what's possible. It says if the connection was interrupted. Let's see again if that's my internet connection. The JN Endowment for Higher Education of Indians. Here is basically where you can go ahead and make applications. They're still available until March 23rd, 2017, as you see here. You can click to apply, and do go through and have a look at offers or offerings such as this. And to go alongside it, I'd recommend looking at as many of them as you can for the external scholarships, as well as looking at international students. Let's have a look at scholarships are available from the university. For most university scholarships, right, using the online so they've got an online search tool. This is what I was looking for. So there's an online search tool that you can use for a comprehensive list of all of the university scholarships for which you may be eligible. And here's the application process for the actual JN Tata endowment, as you can see, and it goes through the final selection of the scholars for award of the loan scholarships based on the final criteria. So you've got interviews, online tests, academic results scores, and then you've got, of course, the search includes scholarships worth over £1,000. You should expect a budget. Okay, so let's go ahead and head over. And the reason I wanted to show you this is just to make you highly aware of the range of scholarships that ultimately are available to you if you're interested in applying to Oxbridge. There is hope, even if you think, well, Deepak, I don't have the money to apply simply. So there's a whole section: fees, funding, and scholarship search. Fee status would be overseas. Show me fees for 2017-18. I will start my course in 2017. Course keywords: no. Division: no. Have you started the course already? No. Do you wish to search scholarships? Yes. Nationality and country of residence. Let's just do an example of India. College: any. And we can go ahead and search that, and we would see what actually comes up. Now, this search might take a little while depending upon the amount of actual scholarships that they have. And as you can see, my connection has actually timed out. It's come back in again. Let's have a look. Okay, let's go ahead and do the same thing. Overseas, 2017-2018. There, course keywords: no. Do you wish to apply for scholarships? Yes. Have you started the course already? No. Nationality, country of residence. Let's do India. Let's go and search, and let's see what this does indeed bring back. So whilst we're waiting for this to load, I want to underline that there are options that are available to you, and it really is, in terms of the application process, thinking about the process a year before you're going to apply, because it's worth looking. You need as a minimum criteria to have excellent academic results. You should be at the top of your class, or in the top 1-2% of your class, and have gone to a recognised institution at whatever country that you're in, because these are the only ways you're going to ultimately get a place. So here we go. This is for a graduate starting in 2017 for the academic year, annual tuition fee, duration, and this is, apparently this is for scholarships. So with some of these elements, as you can see, I mean, this does not make it exactly clear in terms of whether, it says here, 411 forces were found for a graduate starting in 2017-18, and these are apparently the annual tuition fees and the course descriptions and durations, but it doesn't tell us whether they're actual scholarships. So can't find what you're looking for. Try expensive database of FAQs to submit your own question. I could recommend that you could submit your own question, or you could, what I tend to do is I just call the admissions department and ask about how scholarships work, and they'll give you a definitive fee as to, so these tell us the fees for the whole course. And you can use this page actually. In fact, this is a ninja tip, as we've just discovered kind of by accident. You can use this to work out basically the cheapest courses that you can go on versus probably the most expensive courses. And if we click on there again, let's have a look. So this is the most expensive course, business administration. And if we keep going down, history, these are all, as you can see, graduate courses rather than undergraduate courses, which makes it in some ways more affordable. If you're going to go and do a 1-year course, well, it's £20,000. It's not really that much more affordable, but these are some of the other things that you can go ahead and take a look at. So these are the course fees at graduate level. It's not told us the scholarship search at the academic level, the scholarship searches, but this is a page that's open to you. And do have a look here, and of course here, and then just do call Oxford or Cambridge. So let's go ahead. Scholarships, cost of living. So let me zoom out here quickly. No, let's zoom back in. Okay, so these are this is, there's a total just says, you can see £17,000. So this is ultimately the cost of living if you're going to be attending Oxbridge, and it's thing that I'll point. Here we go. As you can see, there's a range of options that are here. You've got your likely cost of living for 1 month, 9 months, and then 12 months. So if you have a look at it, the figures that are probably most important are, on an annual basis, it's going from 12,000 up to 17,000. sorry, here we go. 11,000 up to, so let's say let's round up 12,000 to 17,000 pounds. So between 12 and 17,000 pounds, depending upon the kind of range or where you're going to be living. And if we add that to the tuition fees, are approximately around I think it was like 42. Where do we have it? So we're looking at, let's say, £20,000 is a nice and easy kind of, well, let's say £18,000 as a kind of, no, let's say 20. 20 is fine. So £20,000 per year, alongside another £17,000. That's 37,000 pounds, 3,690. So we're looking at around £100,000 in terms of costs for attending Oxbridge. So these are just things that you need to be aware of. There are ways, as you can see, we've got food, accommodation, personal items, social activities, and this is based upon a very modest lifestyle. To be honest with you, £60 for 1 month. You're going to spend more than that. So I'd say that these activities have probably been slightly undercooked. So I would say that you can increase these by probably £2,000 each overall. So let's say that that's instead of 12, let's say that's £14,000 up to £20,000. So 14 to 20,000 pounds plus the additional 20. We're looking at £40,000 a year. It's £120,000 for your entire living costs. But to be honest with you, the tuition fees should potentially also cover, perhaps, I believe, some of the accommodation. I'm not sure that they do, to be honest, but these are the kinds of costs that you are looking at in terms of the all the additional things that you'll need. So these are the costs that are related to actual living at Oxbridge. So I hope that you've enjoyed this element of it and it's been useful for you. We covered the cost of attending for an EU student, a non-EU student, scholarships available for non-EU students, as well as cost of living at Oxbridge. And the important thing to take from this, I think, is that yes, it is expensive. However, they're the best universities in the world by reputation. You can apply for scholarships. There are plenty of scholarships that are available. And it's really useful to be aware of the kind of costs that you're going to be considering if you're going to make an application. Start thinking about this a few years before you attend, even I'd say 3-4 years, if you are intent upon applying via a scholarship, because it will be really useful to know all of the scholarships that are available, because if you don't have the financial means to cover such costs in excess of £100,000, British pounds, then you're going to have to find ultimately a scholarship. So I hope that was helpful, and look forward to seeing you in the next lesson.